When Hindustan Aeronautics' chief test pilot was recently asked about the new Tejas Mk2, his answer was incredibly brief. It's amazing looking. In combat aviation, an aggressive silhouette translates to lethality. The original Tejas Mk1 was a light combat aircraft, but the new Mk2 stretches 2 meters longer, features a wider fuselage for internal fuel, and adds hardpoints for 4 extra tons of payload. This growth means it sheds its light jet origins entirely. India is now building a true medium-weight fighter, designed for a much heavier class of combat. The timing of this larger airframe is critical. The Indian Air Force is currently facing a severe drop in operational squadrons, as older jets reach the end of their lifespans. Legendary platforms that have served as the backbone of the fleet for decades, like the Mirage 2000, Jaguar, and MiG-29, are slated for retirement. This creates a widening gap in air superiority. The current Tejas Mk1 is too light to carry the weapons payload of those retiring jets, and India's futuristic fifth-generation AMCA is still years away from rolling out. With dozens of airframes leaving service every year, the success of the Mk2's 2026 milestones will determine if those empty hangars are ever filled. In October 2026, the Mk2 prototype transitions from a static airframe to a living machine. This power-on event marks the moment engineers finally energize the aircraft's electrical and digital nervous system. One of the first critical systems they have to integrate is the propulsion. To push the aircraft's new 17.5-ton maximum takeoff weight, India is equipping it with the American-made GE F414 engine. This engine produces a high thrust-to-weight ratio, which pilots need to maintain speed and maneuverability in the thin air of India's northern borders. Then they boot up the brain, the DRDO-developed Uttam AESA radar. Active electronically scanned array technology allows a single radar unit to emit multiple independent waves, meaning it can track several targets coming from completely different directions all at once. Because the Uttam is domestically built, India no longer has to ask a foreign supplier for permission to upgrade the software or access the raw tracking data. A capable radar needs weapons that can reach what it sees. The new internal volume of the Mk2 creates room for a heavily expanded weapons bay. It integrates the indigenous Astra Beyond Visual Range missile for air combat and the French-made Hammer munition, which allows for highly agile air-to-ground strikes. But the most significant payload upgrade comes from a weapon still in development, the BrahMos NG. The original BrahMos was too heavy for a medium fighter. The next-generation variant scales down the weight by 50%, finally giving a domestically built jet the ability to carry India's premier cruise missile. Putting a high-speed, long-range cruise missile directly onto a medium-weight fighter allows the Air Force to strike much deeper into hostile territory without relying on heavier bombers. Building a successful prototype and getting it off the runway is an engineering victory, but the actual challenge lies in mass production. The Air Force has ordered 108 Tejas Mk2s, adding to 83 Mk1As, a total of 191 aircraft. Historically, Hindustan Aeronautics produces 8 to 10 jets annually. At that speed, the current backlog will take over 16 years to clear. To solve this mathematical problem, India is aggressively expanding its manufacturing base. They are hiring thousands of new aerospace engineers and collaborating with major private sector companies to speed up final assembly. The long-term viability of the Mk2 program won't be decided by its aerodynamics. It will be decided by whether the domestic supply chain can scale its output fast enough to replace those older jets before they retire. When you zoom out, the breadth of the logistics required to build this specific jet serves a much larger purpose. Designing the airframe, integrating foreign engines with domestic radars, and establishing a multi-company production line creates a highly experienced domestic aerospace workforce. That industrial knowledge base is the exact foundation required to eventually build their planned fifth-generation stealth fighter. If India can successfully power up, test, and mass-produce the Mk2, they will secure the engineering talent and the factory infrastructure needed to completely control their own skies.